Capri on the Amalfi Coast is renowned for its stunning views, elegance, glamour, and exclusivity. Like islands everywhere, there's a cost for that isolation. We spent a day here and share whether we think Capri is a must or a miss. I'm Judy.
And I'm Kevin. Welcome back to Finding Gina Marie, where we share our lives as full-time travelers and the connections we make along the way.
We saved Capri for the end of our time in the Amalfi Coast because we expected it to be the most beautiful, the most special, the best of everything, and we didn't want the rest of our stops to pale in comparison. Did it live up to the hype we had built for it? We'll let you know at the end. Of course, there'll be prices for everything too.
So today we're heading to Capri, and one of the things that we've discovered is that really you need to give yourself as much time as possible to get a bus and to get a ferry. You don't really get that much time in your destination unless you are like doing private transfers, because it truly is Hunger Games out there, kind of catching the public buses. And we are early in the season. When we took our boat ride, our private boat ride, they had said that the boats are 5 times the amount that they are here, which means the people are an equivalent number more.
And there's a lot of different ferry lines. So when you're buying ferry tickets, make sure you know which one you're getting on. Make sure you're buying return tickets too. They will ask you to, but you want to make sure if you're going to Capri that you have your return tickets. Get it all squared away. Give yourself enough time to get the dock. Don't cut it close because there's always delays with buses or ferries or anything else. You think you've got 20 minutes between a ferry and a bus? Probably not. There's probably going to be something that makes it late. So just plan ahead.
We got a very early start to our day and took a bus down to Amalfi in time to catch an 8:25 a.m. ferry to Capri. We were able to buy our tickets that morning in person, but the lines will be very long at prime hours in peak season and can sell out. As we were lining up on the dock, like most things on the Amalfi Coast, there's pushing and cutting in line, but it seemed as though everyone got on without a problem. Because there are multiple vendors running ferries, make sure you're in the line for the correct ferry. The vendor we used for our tickets from Amalfi to Capri showed as Amalfi Coast, but our return tickets listed us on NLG. Our ferry provider said it was only 50 minutes to get to Capri, but private boats can be quicker since they don't stop at Positano. We suggest that you focus on the departure time that works for you and pick the vendor that fits your schedule best. Our ferry took about an hour after some delays boarding at Positano. Immediately after disembarking at Marina Grande, there were vendors offering us private boat tours starting at about €250 and up for the 3 of us. Most of them didn't include the Blue Grotto, which is a sea cave famous for its crystal blue water caused by the sunlight which enters the cavern through an underwater opening. It's actually on the Anacapri side of Capri, and you can reach Anacapri with a 45-minute bus or taxi if you want to avoid the expense of a private boat tour. And then you need to take another small bus to actually get to the area outside of the Blue Grotto. The motorboats don't even go into the Blue Grotto. You have to pay extra for the cost to transfer to a rowboat and also an entry fee of €18 per person to access the grotto. There's typically a long wait for the rowboats to get into the cave, sometimes an hour or more, so a good portion of your time may be spent in a queue. If you visit in the summer, you could end up waiting up to 3 hours for an experience that lasts literally only 5 to 10 minutes. And sometimes there are vendors who will give up after 45 minutes and just cancel your opportunity to be part of the Blue Grotto experience. If you're at all susceptible to seasickness, the combination of the wait in your rowboat battling large swells in the water and rocking back and forth with a hot sun, watch out. You may want to bring some precautions. For us, it wasn't worth it. Instead, we opted to get a quick bite to eat. A caprese salad consisting of mozzarella cheese, fresh sliced tomatoes, olive oil, salt, and basil is named after the island, so it seemed fitting that our daughter would start her day here with one. Kevin and I had cappuccino and a cornetto apiece. One nice thing about Capri is there is an affordable Funicolare just a short walk after you arrive at Marina Grande. It takes you up to the central area of Capri town and takes about 15 minutes or less, not counting the waiting time, but the queue moves pretty well. It's much better than having to climb all the way to the top. Note that there's a separate line for locals, so this is one instance where people may not actually be cutting in line. At the top of the hill, you'll find a ticket office where you can get ferry, bus, and return Funicolare tickets. If you've arrived to Capri from Sorrento, we would love to know your thoughts on that. Was it an easier way to commute than coming from Bomorano or some other part of the Amalfi Coast? The Funicolare basically drops you off at the center of the city and in a main piazza. We were immediately struck by all the high-end shops and luxury boutiques here. Many of them were ones that you can find in most major cities, such as Gucci, Chanel, Versace, Dior, Fendi. Everything screams expensive, but we didn't come here for the shops. The Amalfi Coast drew us to its scenery more than spending time indoors in overpriced boutiques. Wandering around the town center, observing the various shops worked up an appetite. Il Geranio sits on the edge of Giardini di Augusto with outdoor seating overlooking magnificent views. Unfortunately, they hold the best tables overlooking the scenic coastline for people with reservations. We could still get seated, but not in one of the best tables. We always suggest reservations. We got lucky because it was early June and we weren't at the height of tourist season. But even though no one arrived during our entire lunchtime with reservations, those best tables stayed empty.
This is very generous with the clams and the linguine and the butter.
Want Parmesan cheese for you or no?
Ah, sì.
Okay. And for you, the fresh pepper or no?
No, it's okay. Grazie. Bundy pepper. This is delicious. Tender clams, too.
It also felt a little weird that the waiter let us know that he waived the coperto, but mentioned that we could leave a tip. That's unusual in Italy, and it felt a little icky. Before heading to Giardini di Augusto, we took a peek at Capri Rooftop Lounge to see how it would rate for aperitivi afterwards, but it was too pricey. Aperol spritz here were 24 euro, which was €1 more than the overpriced drinks at Ravello. The views here would be spectacular, but again, for the best tables, you needed to have a reservation. One of our indulgences we recommend, which we saw everywhere in the Amalfi Coast, is a hollowed out lemon that gets filled with lemon sorbet. I got a lemon granita, and our daughter got the lemon sorbet. Both were tasty, tart, and very refreshing. In our search for a lunch spot, we came across signs for Hotel Luna. The hotels in this region of Italy have some of the most magnificent views, and the lush walkway leading up to Hotel Luna is enchanting with its canopy of bougainvillea. After lunch, we stopped at Giardini di Augusto and admired the sheer rock faces, the clear blue water, and of course, this superstar bird that was posing for everyone, proud as a peacock. From this vantage point, we can see a glimpse of the mystical Ferragnoni limestone rocks that tower above the water. Before we talk about prices, we're excited to share that we've started our own absolutely free community forum that we are calling La Familia. You can ask questions about trip planning and all things related to travel there. A video with the details is linked in the description below. So what did this day in Capri cost us? Our ferry from Amalfi to Capri cost us €26.75 a piece. Our return ferry from Capri to Amalfi was €21.75 per person. Our breakfast of 2 cappuccini, 2 cornetti, and a caprese salad for our daughter was €30-40. The Funicolare to get from the coast to the city proper cost €2.40 a piece. That is a steal. Il geranio cost us €115 plus a 10% tip. That included a large bottle of water for €10, Kevin's seafood calamorata al astice for €35, our daughter's linguine vong tartufi for €28, and my ravioli alla caprese for €20. A half carafe of Pinot Grigio was €22. Entry fee to Giardini di Augusto was €7.50 for 3 people. Sorbet and granita at Chiosco Titano's lemon kiosk were a treat from our daughter. It's one of the cutest little kiosks and worth the price. It's the perfect refresher outside of the gardens of Augusto. So what did we think about Capri? Before arriving, I don't think we understood how much shopping and exclusivity there is in Capri. Several restaurants we strolled by near the shops had views of gardens rather than coastline. To us, it felt like you had to spend time and money at a select few coastal restaurants or on the grounds of very upscale hotels with equally expensive restaurants. After seeing the other parts of the Amalfi Coast, we all agreed that Capri wasn't our favorite destination. Is it beautiful? Yes, absolutely. It was high-end and glamorous. If we had more time, we would have explored more of the Capri hillside walks that lead to other restaurants or hotels. We also might have enjoyed Anna Capri, but it was a 45-minute walk to that part of the island, or wait for another bus to get there. And then there would have been a commute time to return back to Capri for our ferry and another bus to our home base. To have given Anna Capri a fair shake, we would have either had to spend the night or come back and give it its own day trip. Capri had already felt too expensive to justify taking more time to include travel to the rest of the island. But we were very happy with our time in Positano and Ravello, and we think you would be as well. And they're easier to get to. They aren't budget cities, but they offered more value for the price and were relaxed while still feeling upscale. If you've been to Capri, how would you rank it against the other parts of the Amalfi Coast? We'd love to know. This wraps up our Amalfi Coast series. If you've missed any of those episodes, you can find them linked in the description. If you aren't subscribed already, we would love for you to do that so you don't miss any of our other episodes.
And one of the best compliments you can give to us is to recommend our videos to your friends and family.
Check out findingginaMarie.com. We have articles, more information, and our community forum.
Until next time.
Until next time.